We need meetings like this regularly, and not only in our dear Enugu State or the Southeast, but throughout the Nigerian Federation. Meetings like this one catalyze progress. Nigeria is in desperate need of progress. I like the fact that the objectives of this annual summit include promoting interactions and social networking among participants. Many people don't seem to be aware of the immense value of interactions. For instance, Steve Jobs, co-founder and chairman of Apple then, famously said that a great idea can come to you when you run into someone anywhere and start a brief conversation with him or her. The encounter can give rise to an idea or what is known as creativity. When you implement the idea successfully, it becomes innovation. This innovation can turn a startup into a billion-dollar business over time. Well, I guess that I was asked to speak here on business enhancement because Geometric Power developed and built the Aba Integrated Power Project, which you saw being shown, the power plant itself anyway, which includes 188 megawatt power plant that generates and supplies electricity to all categories of customers within the Aba ring-fenced area through an embedded power distribution company known as APL Electric, which is popularly known as Aba Power. Aba Power is Nigeria's 12th electricity distribution company. As you may be aware, we are Nigeria's foremost indigenous integrated power company, a model in which the power plant is embedded within the distribution company, the DISCO. We know a business is no charity, as we all know. However, we believe that a good business must have a soul. Good business must have a soul. A business that is concerned with only maximizing shareholder value or pursuing maximum profit at all costs will end up creating a social disharmony which could consume it in the long run. Even as early as 18th century, the Scottish economist and philosopher Adam Smith recognized that business interests must coincide with the larger societal interests. As he famously observed, the farmer who makes food available, the baker who makes wheat available, and the butcher who gives us meat are driven by what he called the profit motive. But to make a profit for themselves, they invariably contribute to social progress by giving society what it needs to be happy and stable food and meat. Ladies and gentlemen, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, every organization must have a heart, a mind, and a humane soul. It must be value-driven. Everything is not about profit. Geometric Power is founded on a strategic vision. It is a socially responsible organization and is driven by modern values. These values, interestingly, are compatible with making decent margins as a business. It has been a pleasure to speak to you at this 2024 Amadeo Business Summit. Thank you so much for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, please may we put our hands together as I make welcome the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development. You're welcome, sir. God bless you.
Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you. Distinguished invited guests, including the former Deputy Governor of Enugu State with us here, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. The reality of the economy of Nigeria is challenged, is a fact known to all of us. And the quest to find a solution to the problem is at the heart of the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency of this administration. The quest to revamp our economy requires the input of all stakeholders and all sectors of Nigerian economy. Massive efforts has been made to ensure that any gap between the public and the private sector is bridged to ensure the unleashing of the huge potential that abound in our economy. I'm sure that's why the theme of today's event, transposition of interest in service delivery, is very apt. It is quite gratifying to be here to participate in this opening ceremony of Amadeo Business Summit 2024, number 3. For those of us in the housing sector, devoting the third day of this summit for real estate and financial services sector is indeed a welcome development. Statistics have shown that the real estate sector holds the quickest and surest pathway to socio-economic growth and employment generation and employer effect in the local economy. So today I'm happy to be here in Enugu and will tomorrow perform the groundbreaking ceremony for the Graceland Estate, which is part of the 10,000 housing unit Coal City Eastern Extension layout being executed by Enugu State Government through Enugu State Housing Development Corporation. This project, I'm sure, aligns with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR for delivering quality and affordable housing to all. And I want to commend the Enugu State Government under the able leadership of His Excellency Dr. Peter Mba for providing this massive piece of land estimated at over 260 hectares in a viable and accessible location for the project. This demonstrates visionary leadership and a strong understanding of the importance of housing to the economic development of the state. I also want to commend the Copen Group for conceiving the project. The Managing Director and CEO of Copen Group, our Reverend Dr. Ugochukwu Chime, is an old friend and a housing development stakeholder and associate. And I have a very confidence that he will bring the highest standards of professionalism to bear on the project. So as a ministry, we are happy to partner with the state government and the Copen Group as part of the Renewed Hope Housing Program to ensure the successful and timely completion of this 10,000 housing unit Coal City Eastern Extension layout. So as you break the ground for this estate tomorrow, for surely also this project will create job for the citizens, and it will also raise the economic development and improvement of the quality of living for countless families living in Enugu and beyond. Father, I thank you for your attention. Long live the Enugu State, long live Nigeria, and long live Mr. President. Thank you very much for this.
Right about now, we're going to get into the next item on the bill, which is awards. These awards will be given to men and women who have distinguished themselves in their various field of endeavors. and have also contributed positively to the business climate around us. We are going to be breaking to the panel session, and we have 5 people who are going to be seated in the panel, and then we'll have a moderator. And of course, I'm going to start calling them, so get ready with your questions. The entire session will last about an hour, and I'm sure it's going to be very resourceful and impactful at the end of the day.
I'd like to begin by asking just the open question, which is, Nigeria is currently facing a major financial and economic crisis, and no industry is exempted from it. So my question to each and every one, to help each of the panel members, is to enable them do their perspective, give us their perspective, would be to ask them, given your individual experiences, what do you think are some of the most significant barriers business organizations face today when trying to improve their business processes in response to our national challenges? And that would include seizing opportunities as they come by. I will start from my immediate left, then we'll go straight to the last person.
Thank you very much, my very good friend, Anayo. Thank you, the organizers, madam, everyone. From my perspective, I want to talk, obviously, as someone that's been involved in the reform and the creation of enabling business environment for a while in this state. Essentially, to really honestly confront the challenges we have economically, government especially, but also businesses, must understand that economies and businesses and most initiative is supposed to be organic. You have to look at it holistically. We focus a lot on physical infrastructure, the roads, the buildings and all that. But we've not really looked at the soft infrastructure, which is really what enables businesses to blossom and expand. What do I mean? I'll give you an example. When you bring someone that's really dealt with government from the perspective of the private sector, like His Excellency the Governor of Enugu State, His Excellency Dr. Peter Mba, he would have experienced some of these challenges, and that, I believe, informed the fact that the very first act of his, immediately after being inaugurated, sworn in on the 29th of May, 2023, immediately he left the guard of honor in the government house. He went straight to his office and signed the executive order called the Executive Order 003 of 2023. Essentially, what that did was to announce a framework, both regulatory and institutional framework, for looking at those challenges that enables businesses, that allows government to remove those bottlenecks. And I must say that the highlight of it, obviously you know about the transparency aspect of it, the creation of the service level agreement for all the MDAs by which they are measured. If you say you're going to give approval for building permit, state the processes transparently, state the cost, state the timeline, and subscribe to it as a government, and then publish it online, and so that it is transparent. You take away discretions. You take away, I don't know this man, do you know anyone in Ministry of Lands, or do you know anyone here? You take that away. And so you should be able to sit in your house and understand and know exactly what you need to do to be able to get that permit before you even step out to do it. You should be able to know the time. You should be able to know the cost. You should be able to know the interfaces that you have to have, be it with one MDA or with two MDAs. And so that was one remarkable thing that was done. And my agency obviously was charged to ensure that the MDAs, especially the ones that we call the BEEs, the Business Enabling MDAs, keep to it. And I can tell you today that if you go to that website and you go to the landing page of Ease of Doing Business, you will see the processes of all the major business enabling MDAs clearly stated and signed on to.
I was in Dubai barely a week plus ago, and I was with a group of Nigerians, and we were in a bus coming into town, and everybody was silent. What were they doing? Once in a while, somebody will hiss. I don't know if you've experienced this. And of course, what they were saying, why can our country not be like this? Consistently, we have this experience. Success is not by accident. 30 years ago, Shenzhen, that has the highest concentration of skyscrapers in the world today, was a fishing village, less endowed than Enugu. There's picture evidence that you can go and research it. 30 years ago, you know where we were 30 years ago. But when you talk about Dubai, the Dubai of today, and you know that in the 60s, they were coming for medical attention in UCI. Or you talk about even a country like South Korea a few years ago. The world today is going through 3 mega trends. The first one is deglobalization. Everybody's to their tent, so Israel. America first, Europe first, China, everybody's going there. The second trend is that there is an exit of investment capital. In spite of what everybody thinks, it's more difficult to raise finance, attract foreign investment. And the third one, of course, is digitalization. Everybody talks about AI. If we are going to turn around, and Anayo, that was your question, we have to understand that private industry, and there are 3 things we need to look at. One, and there are 3 E's for benefit of remembering that. The first one is we need to be sensitive to our environment. Africa, and indeed Nigeria, only contributes 0.55 to global emissions. But the global emissions agenda ignores Africa. We assume that we're not going to develop up to 2050. We must begin to embed climate sensitivity into our business and convert it into an opportunity. The second one, of course, is energy. And I'm glad that Prof is here. Without energy, we can't enable, we can't trigger progress in our environment. But the third one is entrepreneurship. And that small-time businesses have to survive by clustering together to export, to make things and export and be more competitive. There is no other way. We can talk all the grammar we want to talk, but the country and our situation is going to get worse if we don't realize that the tools to turn it around are in our hands. And it requires sensitivity to the environment. It requires energy to drive that process. But above all, getting entrepreneurs to work to take advantage of the opportunities across our borders. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, for me, I think the first thing, just given my own experience, having worked in the public sector, for many years, is the fact that the capacity of the people in the public space, in the public sector, needs to at least match those in the private space, in entrepreneurs and in the private sector. Because when you go to, it's good when I see people like my brother Sam, who heads the Enugu Investment Commission. Brilliant gentleman, he knows it. But what happens to the people down the line, the people who are actually going to implement those policies? The capacity has to match him, or at least let them see him as someone they want to emulate, so that he's not spending half his energy, first of all, fighting the people that work for him, or trying to get them to understand the changes that has to happen. I'm saying this from my own perspective, because you get into the public office, you come with all the big ideas, then you find that the wheels are not grinding with the same space or with the same mind the way you want. And then you get to a point where you say, you know what, as the French would say, F it, I'm just going to sit here and just coast. And so when we speak about how do we, because that's actually, it comes to the next point, which is the mindset. Because again, a lot of people in the public sector often find themselves almost as if they're in competition with people in the private sector. They will say, oh, Emeka is doing well. Why is Emeka doing well? Who is he? So they start setting roadblocks. You know, you go to apply for something, he looks at you and like, oh yeah, this person. This is my chance to get something from him, or at least to slow him down. Or where is he from? Why is he the one? You know, so you get that as well. So how do you how you overcome, first of all, the capacity issue in the public space is also something that has to be, should I say, governments need to grapple with. And also the mind, how the people work. Are they working to enable growth, or are they working to actually stunt growth? So that's another consideration. And I think the third point is actually something that we see, and I'll use Enugu as an example. You find hundreds of thousands of young people who seem to have lost hope in the future. They are actually, it's not just that there's poverty, but it's more insidious when a lot of young people who should carry the torch into the future feel that, you know what, all I want is money. Because when you listen to Professor Barton-Naji, when you see Amadeo doing the investments and doing the initiatives that they're putting up, it's not always about money. But we're down to the situation where a lot of people feel, let me just make money. And when that mindset is pervasive in a society, we're not going to go anywhere.
I'm going to come from a different point. I'm representing the small-scale business, private business, and to tell you the truth, sometimes I don't understand all the grammar they are speaking. But I've been in business for 17 to 19 years, and I know that there are a lot of stops, there are a lot of things that are affecting us. Remember, when we talk about growth is increase in revenue, and of course, other resources like when you get staff, when you have new technology, when you have capital. So the problem we're having that is basically killing our businesses is a lot. Like right now in Enugu, we're having a lot of taxes, and that is also killing us basically. And honestly speaking, of course we're supposed to pay our tax, yes, but now they are making sure that we do that. But the amount of people, take for example, the Ministry of Health. I was thinking I was doing the right thing when the health officials will come to my bakery and then I'll do the needful, do all the stuff, only for us to now know that they have health officials in environmental. They have the health officials and they have 3 different types of people coming to the same business. That is killing us now. So how do we keep increasing? And the prices of things are outrageous. So, and I kept asking them, how can 3 different people come from one single ministry? So, and they will insist, if you don't pay it, you are in trouble. So, and if we understand that when a small business owner wants to start business, they do their market research. And then it's from the market research that you actually know exactly who your customers will be. Now, every day we go to the market, things are increasing. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that Nigeria is, to to me, Nigeria is working. But, so these are things that we are finding out and we are seeing ourselves. And it's not encouraging the younger ones, because when they come to me, they go like, our kitchen pastries should be in business, so you know exactly. I don't know anything, because the way you're struggling is the way kitchen pastries is also struggling, be it you're starting now. But the problem that we're having is most of the youths or most of the people are so not unemployable. We are so basically sitting and blaming the government for a lot of things. Meanwhile, we need to change our mindset about a lot of things. So when our mindsets are not changed, we find out that it affects our business, it affects the way we run business, it affects our profit, it affects our individuality, it affects our creativity as well.
For me, I've never worked in the public sector. I've always been a private sector person. One thing that I will encourage most of the entrepreneurs here to be doing is to be asking questions and to be asking the right questions. It's very, very important. My dad was born in 1934. He told me that things were difficult, according to his dad. And he also mentioned to me that things were difficult. And I was born in 1966, and I've started telling my own children too that times are hard, things were difficult. So if you are looking for a day that things will be very, very okay, probably maybe you forget about that day. Entrepreneurship is a good calling, but you have to be very, very prepared for it. 12 years ago, Dr. Chime and Madam invited my wife and I to this city. So we went around projects. Every time I'm here, we continue to visit projects. And it's getting bigger and bigger. The same economy. So how many people are asking Dr. Ugochukwu Chime how he's doing it? So entrepreneur, you have to continue to ask questions. That is one. 2, business is created to be sustainable and to make profits. So if you are not making profit, you are not doing business, you are into charity. There are bureaucracies in all the states of the Federation. I applied for permit 2 years ago for one of my projects in Victoria Island in Lagos. I've not been able to get that approval. 16 years ago, I bought 20 plus somewhere around Lekki. Out of 20 plus, I got 2. I lost 18, and the money was borrowed. But I have to find ways to ensure that I paid my facilities and life continues. And after that, I've been able to make money and the business is sustainable. In essence, what you read in textbooks may not help you in Nigeria. It's not going to work. The data that you are reading, data about population, about money in circulation, about the size of the economy, it will not help you because the money in circulation, the one that we put under our pillow, is more than the one in the bank. And if you plan with the one in the bank and you are not incorporating the one under people's pillow, I don't know whether that data is going to work. In essence, what I'm saying here today, as a practical entrepreneur and as a real estate developer, is that Let us ask questions how people are doing it. Be legit in your business. I've been in real estate for over 30 years. I've never slept in police cell. Don't be too desperate. Be legit. Do things properly. And make sure that you keep good records of your business. And also make sure that documentation is very, very important. Do proper record keeping. Keep your book. Let your book be very clean. Let your book be very neat. But don't become an angel. Thank you.
So I would like to ask Sam, what is the state doing to enhance the ease of doing business in the Enugu state? And what are the things your agency are doing? What are you doing to help small and medium enterprises? In fact, any business coming into Enugu, any investor coming into Enugu, to improve their processes to be able to respond effectively to the environmental challenges in order to be able to seize the opportunities. I think that's what it's all about. What are you doing to enhance ease of doing business in Enugu?
I share about the same experience. One time I'm in the private sector, another time I'm in the public sector. So I can relate to some of what you are saying. But remember too that progress is incremental. I think what you should be looking at is what is the government doing at this time to change some of these complaints. I don't want to get into too much of this ease of doing business jargon. Suffice it to say though that the reform around ease of doing business is pretty much well structured in this state. It is around infrastructure and security. It is around business processes. It is around fair and predictable regulation. It is around fast and reliable dispute resolution mechanisms. With regards to the taxation, I can tell you that what we're experiencing as if is a surge in taxation in Enugu State is actually the expansion of the net. Is that no new taxes have been created in this state. No new taxes. I think what we should be doing now is to look at how do you consolidate it to make it easier for all of us to pay. And I can tell you the good news is before the end of this year, the state will have what they call consolidated demand notice system. And that is something that we're championing under our mandate as a business key advocate. Development and progress is incremental. Judge us by how deliberate we've been in really offloading many of these landmark reform measures around ease of doing business. For the first time, go to the website, enugustate.gov.ng. Go to the landing page, investment.enugustate.gov.ng, and look at processes. Look at the citizens' gate. Make those complaints. Write to us. We will help you chase it down. The era of multiple people coming to you is almost over. Just bear with government. We're aware of that, and a lot is being done to resolve it. But most importantly, it is our duty and indeed our obligation to pay taxes.
Emeka, we know you have extensive experience within and outside. And of course, the oil and gas sector is one of the most problematic. But I'm not going there. What I'm coming to is your free trade zone. My question is, what role do you see industrial free trade zone, like your own, playing in unleashing the potential of private sector and entrepreneurship in Enugu State, in fact, across the southeast?
One thing I can say very, very clearly that we live in a blessed land in Nigeria. I want you to understand that Nigeria is one of the best places to invest in. We have the most wonderful people. You know, I was telling somebody recently that, when you go to some other countries in Africa and co, you are wondering if there's something wrong. They are smiling at you. They are just gentle smiling at you. When you land in Nigeria, you have to You have to tighten your face and walk like you know what you're doing. What I'm trying to say is that it's a blessed nation, but it's also a very tough place to do business in, right? And therefore, it's not for the feeble-minded. You have to roll up your sleeves and get it done. But in terms of opportunities, they are limitless in this country. The free trade zone here is going to accelerate. Government can never do anything and do everything. Accelerate development in a way that we can see a step change. And that is the challenge, is get the zones working, power them with energy, link them with the public sector, and we can have that transformation happen at fast rates. Thank you.
Given your extensive public sector experience and what we are talking about, my question is, what do you think we can do to enhance public-private sector partnership and leverage this partnership not just in promoting trade and investment, but also building capacities for businesses, especially micro, small, and medium enterprises that account for over 90% of businesses in our state and across the country?
I think the first thing is for governments to recognize the importance of small and medium businesses. You know, as I said earlier in my opening remarks, there seems to be this competition between government or certain agencies of government to see businesses as some form of competition, but to turn it around and say, look, my role is actually to drive the success of these businesses, especially SMEs, to see them. It's well and good when you see your Dangotes, you see governments, frolicking with them, your big businesses. But the core, what actually, like you said, what actually drives society and propels change are the small and medium businesses. And unfortunately, governments across Nigeria often see them as in an adversarial capacity, that, we need to beat them with a big stick. We need to extract. So it's that rent-seeking mindset that's pervasive, almost has come from our old age thing where we used to, do everything comes from oil. We're just collecting rent. So you're seeing that down the line. So that mindset needs to change. But also, and I say this also from a private sector perspective, we need to engage. And I say this from my own experience, that has also helped me in terms of when I worked in the public sector, and I've seen businesses or groups who engage often get what they want.
Thank you. How did you succeed? What did you do to start from the household mama put to now a mega premium brand?
Okay, let me just quickly correct you. I am not a food vendor. I am a sugar artist.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. I do bake cakes.
Thank you.
And desserts. Yes. To the younger ones and the ones in business and is planning to get into business. Anyways, one of it is knowing my customers. What does it mean to know your customers? Even if you have one customer or two customers or three customers, reviews is very important. Their feedback to you is very important. It really helped me. When they are talking to me, I don't look at it as, this customer is always complaining. I listen and I go back and I transform even their grievances to, is it correct? Are they right or are they wrong? Well, I'm always looking for ways. That actually helped me. Another one that has helped me grow over the years is giving back to the society. What does that mean? You can donate to your church. You can help another business person or another baker who is struggling. You can do something. So as you are getting, you are giving back. Remember, the word of God says that seek for the good of the land where you find yourself. If the land prospers, you will prosper. As the land is giving you, you must give back.
Thank you.
It's like planting. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Otumba, I'll come to you. What I'd like to know is, with the growing demand for sustainable housing, this is a demand across the country, not just Enugu State. or Southeast, what process improvement can be adopted to ensure environmentally friendly development in Nigerian real estate sector?
Thank you so much. On the issue of affordable housing and building sustainably and building responsibly, it's actually the way to go. Energy efficiency building is the way to go. Smart building is the way to go. Because in some years to come, all the methodologies we are using to build today will be rendered useless. We are going to be printing houses the same way you are printing an exercise book. So house will become something that you dismantle and you carry it and take it to another location. You won't need anybody to supply you electricity. You are going to be getting electricity yourself. And probably you are going to even be selling to the grid. It's already happening in UK and some other developed countries. Let me just, one word. If Enugu State government can just adopt this, give land out to developers, just collect houses back from them. If you are building 100 houses, probably you are going to get 20 houses back. The 20 houses you are getting back from them, give it to the civil servants, people that can't afford buying at the market prices, and so you distribute wealth. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I like your proposition. If you have questions that you'd like to be clarified, we'll make it brief, just one or two, before we close this session.
I have this question for Mr. Emekamba. As the CEO of Afia TV, my question is, how do you choose the content for your channel to align with your business goals and audience interests? That's the one question. Then the last one is, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs like me who wants to leverage media platforms to promote their businesses? Then my second question goes to Mrs. Ifoma Adanna Ezechukwu, the kitchen pastries. Ma'am, what role do you think marketing plays in the success of a pastry brand in today's entertainment-driven market? And the last one is, how do you stay innovative in your pastry offerings while also catering to customers' preferences and market demands? Thank you.
Please, I have two questions, one for Dr. Sam and one for Mr. Emekamba. Dr. Sam, please, there seems to be a lot of disconnect in human capacity within some of the MDAs in Enugu State. How do we bridge this gap? You have a very good conversation. We say the SPA, you go to the desk of head of department, and then they frustrate you out. They try to frustrate you out. And there have been some cases of intellectual property theft. You bring a model that you want to partner with business, government, MDA, and next day you're seeing another company trying to do that. Mr. Emeka, you run Afia TV. What are you doing with your platform to give entrepreneurs the opportunity to call out these bureaucracies within the government, MDAs and ministries? Thank you.
I think to the young lady who first asked in terms of our content profile and how do we source content, how do we push content out. And the first thing that I would say is that ideally, our business, Afia sees itself as not a TV channel. We see ourselves as a brand. And we're working to fulfilling that objective of building a brand. And when you're building a brand, you will obviously look at the brand, what are the brand attributes? So certain type of content match our, objective brand attributes, okay? And in terms of how do we grow businesses, I think that matches this question. We see our survival as a brand with the growth of small and medium businesses, because ultimately every media organization depends on advertising, sponsorship to survive. So if businesses are not doing well in the Southeast, where is our target market, we are not going to be doing well. So it's in our enlightened self-interest to promote businesses so that businesses will grow and feel a need to come to us for further promotion, for further growth. So there is as I said, an enlightened self-interest. We have specific programs. We have a particular program that we're launching at the end of this month to enable that we call Obuzo, that was going to give out free advertising support to about 1,000 small and medium businesses across the Southeast region. So that is something we're doing specifically in that direction.
First of all, there are two things that I do that I've noticed. When we do Reels, if you understand about Reels in Instagram, you know that you get a lot of views by showing the processes. You are doing you are in a bag making. So even if you do some videos where you are showing some of the processes, how you can achieve, not revealing your secret, you're going to get a lot of views. And as people are commenting, you are being pushed out there. Another thing that we do that have helped us, Kitchen Pastries, to grow more is to do sponsored ads. So we pay a lot for sponsored ads. So if you try that, you will get that. Then when it comes to our pastries, I like to do pastries that are not common, because that way I make money. If I'm doing, say, like chicken pie, I'm not going to do chicken pie like the way every other person does their chicken pie. When I wanted to do croissant, I realized that I went around Enugu, and the only shop that was doing croissant in Enugu was ShopRite, and it was not croissant. They were just doing rolled bread. So what did I do? I had to invest, and I started doing croissant. And today, just one croissant is 3,000, and it sells out fast. So when you want to do a pastry and you want to stay ahead, you should not do what others are doing. There must be a tweak to it. Thank you.
So on this note, I'd like to thank you again, and said it's been a wonderful session, and I'm sure that we've learned a lot listening to our panel of experts. And I'd like you to put our hands together to appreciate them, because it's not easy as we round up, and also to appreciate Copen Group and the entire team that put this event together. Thank you so very much for attending.